Yo, so I just finished watching the first two episodes of Michael Jordan's The Last Dance documentary. Amazing, by the way. But the talk that stole the show is Scottie Pippen's contract. So Scottie Pippen, for context, the second best player on the Chicago Bulls during that whole run, was severely underrated, and even worse, severely underpaid. He was the sixth highest paid player on the team with a contract about 2.5 million per year. That's not including bonuses and incentives and stuff like that. And he was the 122nd highest paid player in the NBA. And obviously, coming off five championships at the time, that's absolutely ridiculous. But we have to take it back into context. What they talked about in the documentary, which was really cool that they talked about it, was the fact that he signed a guaranteed contract for 7 years for 18 million for 7 years, and I think that's kind of getting thrown under the rug. As athletes, it's a problem. It's not a problem per se, but it's a conundrum that we have to go through. Do we want to go have the stability of guaranteed contracts, or do we want to play it by ear and kind of take advantage of having a good year versus not having a good year? Because what is important to note was the owner when he suggested that Scottie Pippen not take the deal and kind of bet on himself, um, that that's not promised. He could have got injured. He could have had a loss of form, whatever. So that guaranteed money for the next 7 years of his life may not have been there. So that's what I wanted to point out. What I also wanted to point out was the fact that the owner said, like, once this contract is signed, don't be coming back, don't come back, and try to complain or try to renegotiate because it's guaranteed, it's locked in. And that's another point to make too. As athletes, you really do not have control, especially if you like make the signature. So it's important to figure out different ways, to add to your overall financial playbook. Whether for Scottie Pippen's case, I'm sure he was getting a lot of endorsements, a lot of appearances to make up for his meager salary that he was making. But it's really interesting to see the dynamic because he had a family to take care of. He had 11 brothers and sisters. He had a father that was ill. Take care of his mother. So hindsight looking in, you see like why he made that. I need to have stability. I need to make sure I'm guaranteed for the next 7 years. But as we look back on it, it's like, yo, come on, the team should have compensated him. But once again, the team is not obligated to do that. So I just wanted to get my thoughts across on like my thoughts on that situation. Let me know what you think. I think it's really interesting to talk. Obviously, we're seeing this from the outside looking in. In hindsight, um, wish he would have got paid what he deserved. But that's business. That's the business of sports.